Violent crime in Larchmont, rapes and armed robbery. We'll talk to Police Chief William Keresy.
The IRS moves in on a Larchmont gas station.
Hard times and budget cuts. What happened to those sales tax revenues, and will Larchmont seniors have to make room for the library?
If the Long Island Sound is one of our greatest assets, are we taking care of it?
And the Mamaroneck Town Board puts an end to the police commissioner controversy.
Welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Bill Littauer.
And I'm Roger Norum. Our top story, fighting crime in Larchmont. The person who should know the most about that subject spoke with Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Barbara Brown.
We are actively investigating two rapes that occurred in Larchmont, one in April and one in late August. The investigation is ongoing. Unfortunately, we do not have a suspect at this time. However, we are working very closely with the village of Pelham, who recently experienced a rape that was similar to those that we had here in Larchmont. Their rape occurred on a public street in the early evening hours. It was committed by an individual who sounds very similar in appearance to the person that we are looking for. So we are working actively with Pelham and the Department of Public Safety in Westchester County. The three agencies jointly are investigating these occurrences.
Well, I hope you get him soon. Now, I have something I'd like to ask you, is that I was in Palmer Avenue on Larchmont a little while ago, and I went into a store and she had her door locked, and I said, well, why is the door locked? She said, because there have been so many incidents of armed holdups that she was afraid. What do you think of this?
Well, I'm glad that you asked that question, because there are some misunderstandings about the kinds of crimes that we've experienced on Palmer Avenue. We, in fact, did have two armed robberies, but as rumor would have it, it sounds more like 5 or 6 at this point. But we had two armed robberies that were committed by the same individual within 7 to 10 days of each occurrence.
And you caught him?
No, we have not apprehended him yet. In fact, what we have done is provided all the merchants in the area with a composite drawing of the person that we feel is responsible. And we have asked all of the merchants to put those wanted posters in a prominent place in their store, so that those merchants and their patrons will help us in an effort to identify the person responsible and apprehend them.
Thanks, Barbara, and our thanks to Larchmont Police Chief William Keresy for being with us. Mamaroneck Police Chief Joseph Del Bianco has been nominated to serve on the governing board of the New York State Association of Chiefs of Police. The county chiefs nominated Del Bianco. The board works as an advisory group overseeing state laws and policies affecting police throughout the state. Bill?
It looks like how and when to cut the budget will be one of the issues in the Mamaroneck Village campaign. Incumbent trustee Kate Weingarten joined us for a discussion of the issues this week. Kate, you said first you weren't going to run, and now you are going to run. Why the change?
Well, I never said I wasn't going to run, Bill, but it did take me a while to make up my mind. I guess as the months have progressed, it seems to me that the overall economic conditions are such that you really need the kind of hard-nosed, kind of green eye shade sense I bring to municipal government, I hope, or I try to bring. People can't buy houses, people can't sell houses. The headlines are constantly talking about the number of people out of work in Westchester County in addition to throughout the state. We've just recently gotten our first check on the sales tax increase revenue, and it's way below what had been projected when that sales tax was passed. Municipal governments throughout Westchester County are going to be feeling a really tight pinch this year.
Well, you just mentioned that the sales tax check came in below expectations. I'm not sure that we have talked about that in the past.
Oh, well.
How much below was it?
Well, if the rate at which the tax is garnered for the Village of Mamaroneck continues, there will be a shortfall of almost $500,000. We were projecting $1.1 million in sales tax revenue, and it's going to come in, unless things pick up, sales pick up, it's going to come in at about $650,000. So it's a
$500,000 in a small village is a lot of money. Are you going to have to cut something else or raise taxes? How can you overcome that?
What you really need to do is the kind of sharp budgeting and the careful spending that we've been doing in the Village of Mamaroneck for the last 2 years. Last year, as an example, we cut $500,000 out of the business as usual budget, but it was an incredible lot of work, and not all people were pleased with losing certain things. No services were affected, but there were some benefits that were affected, and certain things were rearranged.
And it looks like more of the same then coming up.
Every municipality is going to be facing really, really difficult decisions.
You have a tax assessment grievance hearing coming up on the 18th.
On the 18th of February in the Village of Mamaroneck, property owners who have filed with the village assessor a grievance form will be heard by the Board of Trustees, who, in consultation with the village assessor, will determine whether their properties are assessed at too high a valuation.
The Mamaroneck Village election is St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. Roger.
Most of us consider the sound to be one of our greatest assets, but we don't seem to be taking very good care of it. Sven Ome has that story and other news from his LMC-TV news beat.
During a well-attended luncheon of the Larchmont Mamaroneck League of Women Voters, Catherine Clark, trustee of Long Island Sound Task Force, spoke on the water quality of the Sound. The Daily Times quoted her saying that the water quality in western Long Island Sound is worse than it is in the East River. Western Long Island Sound, that's our area. In her speech, Clark urged the voters to push county legislators to provide the necessary funds for improving the Blind Brook sewage treatment plant in Rye and other treatment operations in our area.
Thanks, Sven. Larchmont seniors are not smiling these days, some of their space being cut back. For more on that, here's the newest member of our Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News team, Don March.
The Larchmont Mamaroneck Senior Center may be losing their meeting place. Seniors have been informed that the Mamaroneck Town budget eliminated its portion of the center's funding as of June 30th. Rumor has it the library is eyeing the senior center for a new book storage wing, which could lead to the seniors' eviction or transferal to its smaller quarters. There is still more unsettling news. The Larchmont Board of Trustees voted to let architects draw up the library plans for the seniors' space. Seniors say that government leaders are breaking an 8-year-old promise made when the building was purchased.
Thanks, Don March, for making your news debut with us here on Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. This probably is just as good a place as any to remind you that we are all volunteers here on this news program, and that it's really a fun way to give something back to the community. We'll tell you later on in this program how you can join us or come down and take a look. Roger?
The Pine Brook Service Center on Palmer Avenue in Larchmont is in trouble with the IRS. Uncle Sam says the owners owe the U.S. Treasury and the New York State tax collectors more than $80,000. So the long arm of the law put the locks on the gas station and auto repair service center. Village and town records also indicate that the owner, John Menzino, a Florida resident, owes the town of Mamaroneck nearly $29,000. And the Village of Larchmont more than $11,000. If the taxes owed are not paid up, the property will be sold. Bill?
The Larchmont Library and African Americans who have fought for the U.S. Now there's a connection, believe it or not, and with details, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Joe Chamberlin.
Expanding educational programs for students needs a push from teachers, says young adult librarian Ellen Fentis. The Larchmont Public Library offered a retrospective of African American participation in American wars entitled Fighting for Freedom, and drew only one participant, 7th grader Eric Miller. Eric and Miss Fentis viewed and discussed Men of Bronze, a documentary about black and white soldiers in a regiment from New York during World War I. To quote Ms. Fentis, a program like this is designed to enrich students and get them to use the library. It would get kids to discuss topics they normally wouldn't. Ms. Fentis feels a greater participation would occur if the schools and library worked closer together.
Thanks, Joe. There was plenty of smoke, but apparently no fire at the Larchmont Acres East Apartments last week. Clouds of smoke were released when an oil burner backfired in the basement of building number 7. One volunteer fireman said the burner needs cleaning. It was reportedly the second call firemen had to that building. The Department of Environmental Conservation has also been called to the complex on Rich Bell Road. The department says excess oil in unused underground storage tanks was leaking at buildings 5, 6, and 8. The managers of the complex were ordered to clean out the tanks and cap them. Roger?
Looking for a couple good candidates. You might be just that person. For more on the subject, here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News school reporter Monique Citron.
The Mamaroneck School Board is seeking candidates to fill 2 seats which will be vacant when members Joanne Shaw and Janet Walker step down. Shaw and Walker, who are completing 2 consecutive 3-year terms, have served the maximum allowed. The election will take place on May 20th. Prospective candidates must be screened by the School Board Selection Committee. If you're interested, contact Tom Gunther, chairperson of the Selection Committee, before February 12th at 834-4915. Some Mamaroneck school ensembles, choruses, and a barbershop quartet will sing at the Hummocks on February 14th and at United Hospital's Geriatric Unit on February 14th. Call the Hummocks for details. And also at the Hummocks this Wednesday, February 12th, you can celebrate the Chinese New Year, the Year of the Monkey, with students studying Chinese and their teacher, Wrong Lee. There will be food, skits, a ribbon and a fan dance, and a lot of fun. The festivities will take place in the Hummocks North Cafeteria. It's free and all are welcome. For the exact time, call the Hummocks at 834-6550.
Thanks, Monique. Remember, the deadline for applying to be a school board candidate in the Mamaroneck School District is this Wednesday, February 12th. A couple of notes for area drivers. The good news is that, in case you haven't heard, the Department of Motor Vehicles is finally opening up a new shop in the White Plains Mall. But it'll only be temporary while a permanent home is searched for to replace the condemned one near the county center. So the new DMV is at the White Plains Mall beginning this Friday. And another driver's note, in the search for the most reasonable gasoline around, the Northville station on the Post Road near the New Rochelle-Larchmont border. That Northville is selling unleaded regular for $1.19 a gallon. And it's full service. You'll get your windows washed at the same time. The Getty station next to the Roy Rogers, also on the Post Road, also has $1.19 a gallon gasoline, but only on its sale days, and that's Tuesday and Wednesday. By the way, if you have found a particularly good bargain at a gas station, a supermarket, or just about any consumer area that you would like to share with your neighbors, let us know here on the news program. You can write to us, care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck. Bill?
A gift from White Plains to the town of Mamaroneck. For more on that and other happenings at the most recent meeting of the Mamaroneck Town Council, Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News spoke with Councilman John McGar.
Okay, John, I understand that the town has been the beneficiary of some fresh monies from the county.
Yes, this past week we were notified by the county that our share of the sales tax for the first 6 weeks of that sales tax came out to $76,000.
$76,000, and that's just the first installment?
Yes, and on a full year basis, on a straight line basis, the projection would be about $660,000, and what we had in our budget was $650,000. Oh, so we're in line with that.
Now, is this money already spoken for in the budget?
In our non-tax revenues, the amount that was put in was $650,000 against expenses. Just a note on this 1% increase in the sales tax, half a point of that went to the towns and villages, a quarter point went to the schools, and a quarter point to the county.
Okay. On another matter, I understand the council is authorized some work in the East Creek area?
Yes, East Creek is a creek that runs on the Village of Larchmont line and the town line. Runs south of the Boston Post Road between Flint Park and Hommocks Park, and we've authorized
sort of a marshland area there.
And we've authorized the engineering firm to install a trash and oil screen with a boom, and also to do periodic maintenance and monitoring of that for us.
Does that get pretty messy down there?
Yeah, we've been finding that there's, in addition to traces of oil that have been in that creek, also trash has been thrown in. And this ties in with the general program that people may be noticing of signs being placed in terms of this outlet runs into this Long Island Sound.
I understand there was some final action taken on the fact of the police commissioner position being abolished, that now there's also going to be another step that the public can...
2 weeks ago, the law of 1984 was amended to allow the council to, in place of a police commissioner, to have a board of police commissioners, and that would be done by resolution. And there was discussion on the point, and we were all in agreement that that type of action, if a change were to be done, the resolution should be accompanied by a public hearing and notification.
So
and that was the
people know
action.
about it.
Yes, and that was the action that was taken last night.
Our thanks to John McGar of the Mamaroneck Town Council for getting us up to date on the activity at the town level. The Mamaroneck Town Board has put an end to the controversy over the police commissioner post. The board voted unanimously to require that public hearings be held before the job of police commissioner can be reinstituted. 3 weeks ago, the board formally abolished the job of police commissioner and made Chief Paul Munch the town's top cop.
Low-flow toilets, a subject the mayor of Mamaroneck, Paul Noto, is currently waving the flag over. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News spoke with the mayor about the matter. Well, Mayor Noto, you look a little flushed with pride, if I may use the expression. Been hearing something about low-flow toilets. What's that about?
Yes. Well, I've been part of the Long Island Sound study for a number of years now, and one of the issues that has come up and it's been in the news is the problems with the sewage treatment plants and nitrogen flowing into the Sound. And in Phoenix and Massachusetts, they have successfully tested and required, in some respects, low-flow toilets. Those are toilets that use only 1.5 gallons per flush, as opposed to 4 to 6 gallons per flush, which the normal toilet uses. And if applied and mandated for new construction on a region-wide basis, we could probably reduce substantially the amount of sewage flowing into the plants, which would reduce the overflows and would also then reduce the amount of nitrogen flowing into the Sound. So not something I necessarily want to be remembered for in terms of the headline in the paper, but in fact, there are a lot of little things we can do to mitigate development impact and to limit the flows of nitrogen into the plants and then into the Sound, which I think in the long run would benefit the Long Island Sound.
This idea, though, this would really only affect new buildings, right?
Yes, we can't retrofit or require retrofit, although people can do it on their own initiative. It is not that expensive. But no, we would never require it except for probably large multifamily dwellings and commercial dwellings.
But at the same time, too, that I mean, is there going to be much new construction happening that...
Well, we'd like to see, certainly where Pure Foods or the Burnout site. I mean, there are some projects in the village, but I've recommended this to the county and to other communities. I mean, it has to be done region-wide.
What sort of reception have you gotten?
Very positive. I think people are concerned. We have a non-point committee at the county level now that I'm a member of, and we're looking into the ways to effectively reduce nitrogen, so I think, and non-point. So I think it's really important. Reception's been very positive, but implementing it is another story, and I think it's going to take time and some behavioral changes among the population.
On another village matter, I understand the beach pavilion is getting a little sprucing up.
Yes, I'm very happy to say we had committed ourselves to that in last year's campaign. It is now open to the extent that we're cleaning it out. We're getting ready to remove asbestos that had been in the roof and some of the roofing.
That should be rather costly, I would imagine.
Yeah, we think it may cost up to $25,000 to remove the asbestos, but once it's out, then we are going to have a crew of volunteers go in, hopefully by spring, and we are very lucky to have a lot of people who want to volunteer their time and their labor to get it back and restore it to what it is now, which was just a beach pavilion. Long-term implications, we're looking at a lot of things, maybe something for young people or some kind of full-time, year-round facility. It's pretty big. It'd have to be winterized. But for now, we're just excited about the fact that it's getting cleaned out, and we hope to have it open this summer.
Our thanks to Mayor Noto for being with us on Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. Bill?
The Coastal Zone Commission has given approval for new above-ground fuel tanks at the Wingfoot Country Club. The club wants to replace a pair of below-ground 2,000-gallon gasoline tanks and a 1,000-gallon diesel tank. Although a public hearing was scheduled for February 13th, the Commission believes the above-ground tanks have several advantages. Leaks would be easier to detect, and catch basins would be built to catch any slippage. The club needs a freshwater wetlands permit from the Mamaroneck Town Planning Board to construct the tanks, and the Coastal Zone Commission was called on to make its recommendation.
Our newest member of the LMC News team, Don March, also is president of the Mamaroneck Historical Society. Here's a special reminder about a special event this Wednesday, February 12th. Don?
My name is Donald March. I'm president of Mamaroneck's Historical Society, and I would like to invite the members of the Mamaroneck-Larchmont community to a special program being put on this coming Wednesday, February the 12th at 8 p.m. at the Mamaroneck Free Library. It's an attempt to bridge the generations in terms of local history, in terms of Archie comics. 50 years of Archie comics, and it's a chance to make history relevant to young people. It's a program that we put on, and we welcome you to come and participate and share the experiences that you remember of Archie when you were growing up, 1941 to 1991.
We mentioned earlier that we would tell you how to join our news team. It's very easy. Just drop by the cable TV studio at the Mamaroneck High School any Thursday evening. You'll find us in the Palmer Avenue building, just up the stairs from Walter's Hot Dogs.
We get started about 7:30. There's plenty to do anytime during the week, covering stories, shooting tape, editing, and writing, as well as producing the show itself. You can fit it into your schedule.
And that's our report for this week. A reminder, you can catch this program at 10 a.m. every weekday morning and again at 7 p.m. and midnight, Monday through Friday, and 10 a.m. Saturday mornings. I'm Roger Norum.
And I'm Bill Littauer. We'll see you next week at the same time here on LMC-TV, Channel 36. Larchmont police release a sketch of the armed robbery suspect.
A Metro North conductor collapses and dies in Mamaroneck.
Two families move into Larchmont's homeless shelter.
New parking permits are necessary if you want to park in Mamaroneck.
And we'll continue our series of interviews with candidates for village trustee.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Bill Littauer. Our top story, Larchmont police have released a sketch of the man sought as the village armed robber. The suspect is described as a white man, slim build, weighing 140 to 160 pounds with sandy blonde hair. He is sought for the December 21st robbery of June Elizabeth's and the January 6th robbery of Buck's Pharmacy. Both are on Chatsworth Avenue in Larchmont. No one was injured in either robbery, the man escaped with about $100 from the June Elizabeth cash register and a customer's handbag. The owner had taken most of the day's proceeds out of the cash register to make a bank deposit less than an hour before the robbery. We don't know how much was taken from Buck's Pharmacy. Sven?
A 40-year-old Metro North conductor collapsed on an outbound train recently. The train was stopped in Mamaroneck, where EMS personnel entered the train and tried to save the conductor's life. Fortunately, they were not successful, and the Metro North employee died, apparently of a heart attack. Bill?
A former skating instructor at the Hommocks ice rink has pleaded innocent to a charge of rape and 60 other counts of sexual abuse. 36-year-old Stephen Savino of Somers has been released on $5,000 bail. An indictment headed up in January charges the incidents took place between 1986 and November of 1991. The alleged victims ranged in age from 11 to 17. The indictment was sealed, and county officials would not disclose where the reported crimes were supposed to have taken place.
The family of Karen Petrello, the victim of a hit-and-run fatal accident on October 5th of last year at the Boston Post Road Keeler Avenue intersection, is suing Mamaroneck Village. In the view of the family, the village failed to provide for proper traffic regulation at the dangerous intersection. In addition to the charges against the village, a suit has been filed against New York State, which owns Boston Post Road. Bill?
There have been a number of sexual assaults in the area in the past year, 2 rapes in Larchmont and another recently in Pelham. What if the worst happened and you became a victim of a rapist? What should you do? LMC-TV reporter Monique Citron raised that question with Francine Giras of the Rape Crisis Helpline.
Francine, if the unthinkable happens and a woman is raped, what should she do?
Probably the first thing to do is call our helpline. Get to a safe place and then call our helpline. And at the other end of that helpline will be somebody who is trained to help someone in crisis.
And is that available all the time?
It's available 24 hours a day, every day of the year, either by a staff or by a trained volunteer.
You're located in White Plains.
We're located in White Plains, but we help everyone in Westchester County. And if anyone is interested in joining our helpline, our next training is coming up in April.
What is the number?
The number is 684-9877, but that's a hard number to remember, and the easiest way is just to call the operator and ask for the Rape Crisis Center.
Okay, so that we want the Rape Crisis Hotline.
The Rape Crisis Helpline.
Helpline. Now, what other services do you give?
Beyond helping somebody through those initial stages, we also take calls from people who have been raped years and years in the past. We also have a team of counselors who will provide free counseling both to the person who was assaulted and to their loved ones, to their family or their close friends.
You have educational programs?
We have educational programs. We'll go into any high school, any college in Westchester County. We'll also go into any church or community group and run programs for them, do workshops on sexual assault and the causes and effects.
Thank you. You've been a very helpful guest.
Thank you.
We'll remember the Rape Crisis Hotline and hope nobody ever has to use it again.
When you hear the name UNICEF, you may think of Christmas cards, and soon that may change. The organization is considering to concentrate its employees, who currently are scattered around 5 locations in Manhattan, in a central location in one of the suburbs. As it seems, New Rochelle may have some good chances to be the site of the new headquarters of UNICEF. About 700 employees could be moved. If the move takes place, it will have a major impact on our local economy. Phil?
Jacob Goodwin is a Democratic candidate for Mamaroneck Village trustee. He thinks taxes will be the major issue in the campaign, and specifically keeping ratables on the tax rolls. He points to the Sarah Newman Nursing Home as an example. Mr. Goodwin, you say taxes are a major issue in the campaign. What can you do about them?
Well, they're clearly a major issue in the campaign every time I go anywhere, whether it's along the avenue and talk to the merchants, or particularly from house to house and talk to residents. It's on everybody's mind. There's a couple things you can do. The first thing is you can consciously look through the budget and make sure that you only spend money on things that are important. And you've got to look at it vigorously and go line item by line item and look for areas that can be done cheaper and ways to cut the budget.
Is there anything that really isn't necessary in that budget now? What would you cut?
I think that there's some personnel issues that need to be looked at. I think that there are probably some services that are being provided by more people than we may need. But more important than going through the budget, let me, in the brief time that you have, let me talk about something that I think is even more important, and that is protecting the erosion of the tax rolls. As you know, we have a tax roll, which means the overall value of the village is about $84 million. And the single largest taxpayer in the village, which has been the Sarah Newman Nursing Home, has recently been bought out by a new set of owners who are now applying for tax-exempt status here in the village of Mamaroneck. It's my view that the village has to do a better job of looking at that application extremely closely to see that it conforms to New York state law. I've consulted some attorneys both in New York and in Albany and in Pennsylvania where this issue is becoming a growing issue, and I'm not convinced that we've looked into it closely enough to see that they've met various sections of the New York state statutes to qualify for tax-exempt status. If we ultimately determined, and I'm not yet ready to say that this is going to be the way it works out, but if ultimately we were to determine that they don't qualify for tax-exempt status, the effect will be that you'll keep $1 million on the tax roll, and that will bring in $128,000 to the village hall, which otherwise is going to have to come out of the pockets of taxpayers.
But if they don't, if you do have to grant them tax-exempt status, then what happens?
Well, if you do have to tax, then what happens is that everyone else's taxes increase.
Jacob Goodwin is a member of the Village Parks and Recreation Commission and a former director of the Washingtonville Housing Alliance. Sven?
Todd Noble is a Republican candidate for trustee in the village of Mamaroneck. Monique Citron discussed the issues with him.
And you served 2 terms as trustee and 1 as deputy mayor. Why do you want back into village politics now?
Well, first of all, I'm concerned about the issues. And secondly, I was invited by the party to come back and seek another term.
What issues are you concerned about?
I'm primarily concerned about taxes. I think we can do something about them to reduce them.
For example?
For example, we can question the town tax. We can challenge them. We can ask them for $1 worth of service for $1 worth of tax. Secondly, we can encourage some of the previously approved developments that we've had in the city, we can, in the village rather, and we can put them back on these properties back on the tax rolls.
And what do you think you can bring that's unique? There are 6 candidates running and only 3 seats. Why should someone vote for you?
Experience, and if you look at the Republican record, the 4 years that I was in office, in addition to, prior to that too, we have an excellent record of accomplishments. For example, in housing, during our term, we put 200 units on the books, 135 in the Pure Foods, which of course didn't get built because of the recession, and 75 from the senior citizen, and the balance 20 were from the Barrymore complex.
The village of Mamaroneck has its first Hispanic candidate for trustee. She's Martha Lopez, a Democrat and a longtime housing and human rights activist. LMC-TV reporter Joe Chamberlain discussed the issues with her.
Well, Martha, why are you running for village trustee of Mamaroneck?
I am running for village trustee because I have always cared for the community. I have been involved throughout the years in different activities. And
could you tell us a little of your background?
Yes, I like to say that through the years I have been involved in different programs. I am one of the founders of KEEPS, which is an after-school program. I am also a member of the Human Rights Commission. I was a soccer coach for 3 years, and I am also the president of a Hispanic association that is in Mamaroneck.
I see. I understand you're the first Hispanic running for village trustee.
Yes, I am. As you know, Hispanics right now represent 10% of the Mamaroneck population. It's understandable that you are going to be seeing the Hispanic name coming up, more often.
I see. Could you tell us what the issues are that you're most concerned about, or what your platform would be?
I am very concerned about the economic development of the village of Mamaroneck. I am concerned about housing in general. I see the young and old population be driven out of the community. I am concerned about the recreation. I like to be part of implementing a program where toddlers to seniors can benefit from. I am, I have to say that I am very concerned in each aspect in the community.
Another candidate in the Mamaroneck village election next month is Wendy Landis, running for village justice on the Democratic line. Monique Citron spoke with her.
Wendy, why do you want to be justice?
Well, to be honest, I was asked many times during my career as a prosecutor and an attorney if I would want to be a judge, and I've always thought that was something I'd want to do. I didn't realize that it was going to happen right now when I received a call from the Democratic Committee asking me if I would run. But I do feel that I would be very well suited for the job.
What are the issues that you're concerned about?
Well, a judicial candidate is really prohibited from discussing issues. I guess the theory behind that is that you can't prejudge something that is not before you. So I can really only run on my credentials and why I believe I would be a good, fair, and impartial judge for the village.
What are your credentials?
I've been a practicing attorney for 11 years. Most of my career, the first 6 years of my career, I was an assistant district attorney in Westchester County with the office of Carl Vigari. I prosecuted crimes in virtually every court throughout the county, all the small local courts as well as the county and Supreme Court. I worked closely with the police, the court staff, the judges, and the general public. And in my last years of practice, I've been in private practice, and I've defended criminal cases as well as other types of cases. So I feel I have a very well-rounded view of the criminal justice system.
The present justice has served for 12 years now. Is there anything that you think that the voters should know about you, why you should be elected?
Well, if I were elected, I would serve for 4 years. I feel that from my experience, I would be very fair. I know the importance of listening, that each case is different. You really have to listen because there's no two accused that are the same. I think in a village court such as this, you have to educate people to an extent because for many people it will be the first contact they will ever have with the criminal justice system. And I feel I could fulfill all those roles plus serve the community in doing it.
Wendy Landis is a former assistant district attorney in Westchester and is now in private practice. She is the mother of 5-year-old twins and a 7-month-old daughter. A new experience for a lawyer. It happened the other day in Mamaroneck Village Court. The defendant hit his attorney and later, in an interview with the Daily Times, said that it was better to be behind bars in Valhalla during the cold winter than to be homeless and on the streets of Mamaroneck.
42-year-old Paul Munch has formally assumed the job of top cop in the town of Mamaroneck. Two of his first formal acts were to promote one officer to lieutenant and another to sergeant. The town board has formally abolished the post of police commissioner amid hopes Munch can restore calm and improve the department's reputation. In the last 25 years, 4 police chiefs and 1 police commissioner have resigned after various conflicts and controversies. One pleaded guilty to charges of petty larceny and official misconduct. Both Republicans and Democrats have praised Munch for his management style and professional conduct. Sven?
A 36-year-old Larchmont police officer has won his case, but village officials say they will change their policy now to make sure it doesn't happen again. Police officer Walter Burke had demanded overtime pay for attending a workers' compensation hearing on his day off. He was trying to prove that his absence from work several years earlier had been caused by a work-related injury. After a 4-hour grievance hearing, the village and the police union agreed to pay Burke $115 in overtime. Officer Ron Knudsen will also be paid about $300 for a similar claim. However, the police department will demand in the future that officers attend workers' compensation hearings on straight time. If a hearing is scheduled on their day off, they will permit it to switch shifts with another officer. Bill?
The Reverend William Kolb is leaving St. Thomas Episcopal Church after 13 years. LMC-TV reporter Julie DeRamundo talked with him about his decision to leave.
Reverend Kolb, how long have you been at St. Thomas's?
13 years. Started there October 31st, 1978.
It's a very long time. I understand you're moving to Memphis.
Right. We're leaving February 23rd. And I start at Calvary Episcopal Church in downtown Memphis on Sunday, March 1st. I'm going to be the associate rector there in charge of pastoral care of the people. It's a very large parish, and they have a number of full-time clergy, and each of the clergy specializes. That is, one is in charge of Christian ed, one is the rector, administrator, etc. All the clergy do their share of preaching and teaching and leading worship services. But each one is in charge of a particular dimension of the life of the parish community, and mine will be pastoral oversight, counseling, hospital visitations, visitations of those who are sick at home, bereavement counseling, working with those who are dying, just kind of out in the community and within the parish community, giving pastoral care.
And I know there are many hospitals in the Memphis area, so you're going to be very, very busy.
Right, right.
Have you ever lived in the South?
Yes. I've never lived in Memphis, which is much further west in the South than I had any idea. And in fact, if you walk out the front door of the church, it's 2 blocks from Mississippi and 2 blocks the other way from Arkansas. And it's right on the Mississippi River. But I have lived in South Carolina, Virginia, and Florida.
Oh, so you're pretty familiar with it then.
Right.
What will you miss most about Mamaroneck?
Well, I'll tell you what. When I got here, I heard it was the friendly village, and it has been for us. The thing that has struck me most in the last few weeks is how everybody knows everybody. And I had not really realized how much I had bonded with so many people. And as excited as we are about going to Memphis, we're going through a very sad time as we leave a community of really friendly people.
Yeah.
A friendly parish and a friendly, very, very special. We're going to a city of 750,000, and it's going to be very different.
Well, you're special, so I'm sure you'll make the experience special. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
It's time again in Mamaroneck to get those annual parking permits. Renewal forms have been sent out over the last couple of days. All you have to do is fill out the form, attach a photocopy of your car registration, don't forget a check made payable to the village of Mamaroneck, include a self-addressed stamped envelope, and return it all to the treasurer's office. Permits are $192.15. Spots at the station plaza and the upper ramp are $375.63. All applications have to be sent in by February 21st. Bill?
Now, with a look at this week's school news, here's LMC-TV school news reporter Monique Citron.
It's kindergarten sign-up time in Rhinebeck. If you live in Rhinebeck and have a child born in 1987, you can enroll him or her for the fall semester at Effie Bellows School at 200 Carroll Avenue in Mamaroneck. Sign-up is February 24th through the 28th from 8 a.m. in the morning to 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon. Please bring with you a completed registration form which is available at the school, proof of residency, either a rental lease or a recent utility bill, a birth or baptismal certificate, or a passport for your child. Any questions, call the school at 698-6171, extension 339. Back at Mamaroneck High, it's not business as usual for business class students. At a recent study conference, consultant Diane Tone said the business department had to rethink its offerings if it is to prepare students for the business world. Tone said that the classes should be grounded in what the business community needs. The report showed the curriculum to be top-heavy in keyboarding with little emphasis on basic office skills and procedures. 103 out of Mamaroneck's 1,090 students are enrolled in the business department. A very special nice going to 7th graders of the Comics who have once again contributed the proceeds of a charity carnival, about $500, to New York's neediest. And finally, speaking of money, the school budget once again topped the agenda at Mamaroneck's latest school board meeting. It seems the district will have to manage without $2.7 million in state aid, which it lost in mid-year cuts. Sarah Tate, who is assistant for operations, had anticipated only a $1.5 million decrease, a big difference. The district also lost about 6% or $2 to $3 million of its revenue because of corrected property assessments.
Larchmond's homeless shelter has its first 2 families. Both families are headed by unemployed single parents with children in the Mamaroneck school system. Dubbed iCare, the 2-story home near the train station was financed through $69,000 in donations and built and furnished with donations and volunteer help. The executive director of the iCare group, Marian Sullivan, says the families will not be identified. Ms. Sullivan says that privacy is important to make the project a success.
Well, it's just about time to sign up for spring courses at the Center for Continuing Education. Julie DeRamundo has the details in this interview with the center's assistant director, Sue Benizio.
I notice you offer many special interest classes. They sound very fascinating. Even the titles are intriguing, like Music and Art, A Cultural Synthesis, Criminal Violence, As American as Apple Pie. Can you tell us about them?
Yeah, we offer a lot of special interest courses. The 2 that you've referred to, Music and Art, A Cultural Synthesis, is really making use of the newest computer technology. Very often music and art are studied and appreciated separately, and it combines them. Art usually actually comes out of the music of its time and vice versa. And so they bring it together, and it's a wonderful, fascinating show done by a terrific man, Walter Reinhold. Criminal Violence is a one-night course. It's a study of the criminal mind, and Henry Weinstein, who's director of forensic medicine at New York University, is going to talk about the criminal mind, whether a criminal can be rehabilitated or not. And I think particularly in these times, it's a very interesting course. We're also offering an update series on the economic crisis in the United States, and I think it's very timely, particularly in light of the elections coming up and with the recession upon us. And we have really renowned and very heavyweight people talking on this issue. So
they sound really fascinating.
Thanks.
What about the day trips? Where are you going?
We always offer day trips. This year we're going to the Philadelphia Flower Show, which is always fun. It's just millions and millions of flowers. We're going to the Waldorf Astoria to see, to have their chief chef show us around their kitchens, sample their food, show us how they decorate food. We're also going to a decorator showcase out on Long Island, and then to the Meisner Foundry, which casts sculpture. They've done a very famous sculpture at the Vietnam Memorial. And we're going to Shaker Village up in Massachusetts.
And that's our report for this week. Remember, this is an all-volunteer effort. If you'd like to join the LMC-TV news team, either in front of the camera or behind it, why not come down and see what we do and how we do it?
Meet here at the LMC studio every Thursday night, starting at around 7:30. We're in the Palmer Avenue building of the high school, just up the stairs from Walter's Hot Dogs. I'm Sven Oehme.
And I'm Bill Littauer, and we'll look for you next week at the same time, right here on LMC TV, Channel 36.
Incinerators may soon be history in the town of Mamaroneck. We'll have an interview.
County money from the new sales tax crawls back to Mamaroneck.
Asbestos cleanup at Larchmont Acres may not have been a clean sweep.
So how did the cable TV survey form you filled out compare to your neighbors? We'll have a report.
And a special Sadie Hawkins event is warming up for this Friday in Flint Park. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Roger Norum.
And I'm Sven Oehme. Clean air may be in the future for Mamaroneck. Incinerators could be getting the stop sign. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News spoke with Town Councilman Paul Ryan about the incinerator ban and other town matters.
Paul Ryan, I understand at the last town board meeting that the subject of an incinerator law was brought up. Could you fill us in?
Sure, Roger. We've been talking about this for quite some time now. There's been a lot of public sentiment, both for and against incinerators, and the fly ash and the smoke and the dirt that they've caused to the town. We have a public hearing, the second public hearing, as a matter of fact, coming up at our March 18th meeting. And we hope at that time to pass an incinerator law. We have a draft available for study in the town
Could you
office.
give us a thumbnail of what it contains?
A thumbnail, yes, we will be banning incinerators within 2 years. We will have very stringent standards for fly ash and smoke and all that. We will also be empowering the building inspector to issue summonses for violations. Prior to this, only the county could issue summonses.
So anybody that's for or against the idea should come to this public hearing?
It should be very well attended.
Right. Okay, on another matter, I understand work on studying the environmental impact of the country clubs is still ongoing, and you've saved some money.
That's ongoing, yes. It will continue for some time now. We realized after doing the draft environmental impact statement that a supplement would be needed to round out the information that we would need. So we have commissioned Ferrandino and Associates and Malcolm Perney Associates to Malcolm Perney to do the water monitoring and Ferrandino for the rest. It'll cost approximately $90,000. That's what we're looking for.
But I understand the town saves some money by the use of volunteers.
Well, our original estimate was around $230,000, so that's about $140,000, $150,000 saving, approximate. And we'll be using town volunteers, members of boards and commissions like Coastal Zone Management Commission and CAC and Planning and Zoning to, they're considered experts, you know, in the eyes of the courts and everyone else, so we're going to use them.
Great.
Our thanks to Mamaroneck Town Councilman Paul Ryan for being with us on Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
The county sales tax benefits are trickling down to our area, and as far as the town is concerned, the trickle is more like a slow drip. The first installment for the town is $76,800. That's about a third less than the Westchester County first estimated it would rebate the town. The town had originally been told that it would get about $120,000. Another town matter. Property tax delinquents are coming out of hiding, but there are still a reported group of about 15 property owners who have still ignored notices to pay their tax bill. The next step, according to the town, is that notices will be sent to redeem the property, which is the first step to foreclosure. On another program, we'll let you know who and which properties they are in case you may want to pick them up at a foreclosure sale. The Village of Mamaroneck, meantime, has gotten its first installment from the newly created increase in the county sales tax, $118,596 sent from White Plains to Mamaroneck Village. Now the Board of Trustees is thinking about what it's going to do with the county money. The Republicans want the money used to reduce real property taxes. The Democrats are said to be thinking the money should be used to build up depleted reserves in the village treasury. Sven?
The After School Explore and Discover program in Mamaroneck received a major boost to its budget recently. The Aetna Life and Casualty Foundation of Hartford gave a $4,000 check to the program. Once Mamaroneck had raised $3,000 through community help, the program met the guidelines Aetna had set. With a budget of almost $20,000 for the 1991-92 school year, the Explore and Discover program can be continued. 18 pupils are currently enrolled. They attend 3-hour sessions every afternoon, Monday through Thursday. Roger?
And now for a look at more area school news, here's an item from Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Joe Chamberlin.
If you're a student at Mamaroneck High School and want to improve your business education and skills, it would interest you to know that the Board of Education is considering providing an avenue for just that. Specifically, the new courses being reviewed would include WordPerfect, advertising desktop publishing, and spreadsheet database. The intention is to tie one's high school education more closely to needed vocational abilities in the workplace. A major concern of the business community is to add more to the already good attitudinal and communication skills taught at the school.
Thanks, Joe. By the way, not many people know it, but the National Football Foundation and College Hall of Fame Incorporated is based in Larchmont. The outfit awards scholarships among high school and college football players, and this year has named 7 Shore athletes to 2 all-star teams. Included in the selection was Mamaroneck High School tight end and safety Joe Canese. He's 6'1" and has caught 8 passes this season, including 3 for touchdowns. Also, Canese was named team captain and most valuable defensive back. All this while maintaining a B+ average and scoring 1250 on his SAT. John's also a student government rep and peer advisor and Safe Rides member and the lacrosse team. Sven?
The finest supermarket on Boston Post Road and Weaver Street will see major changes in the very near future. The $3.5 million project will include a store expansion of 15,000 square feet, a new facade, and new landscaping. All work is scheduled to be finished by the end of the year. Roger?
Just how safely was the asbestos removed from the basement of the Larchmont Acres apartment complex on Rich Bell Road? A New Jersey company has been charged with doing it improperly. A&A Asbestos Removal of Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey, removed the asbestos on the 7th of February, and 4 violations are being cited, but the subcontractor that did the work says, according to the Daily Times, it's all disputable, and he'll fight the charges. State attorneys are reviewing the case as we speak. Sven?
Cable television and its future in our community. Not long ago, you filled out a questionnaire on the subject. For the results, here's Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Pat Michelizzi.
The Larchmont-Mamaroneck Cable TV Board of Control is gearing up for franchise negotiations with United Artists Cable TV of Westchester. And to assist them in the negotiations are nearly 2,000 questionnaires sent in by residents of the Larchmont-Mamaroneck area. On January 16th, the Tri-Municipal Cable TV Board of Control held a public hearing that was carried live right here on LMC-TV. During the hearing, the board accepted calls from residents wanting to voice their opinions about what they liked or disliked about the current service and programming and what changes they had hoped for in the future. In addition, questionnaires were mailed to both cable subscribers and non-subscribers in the Larchmont-Mamaroneck community area. The response was overwhelming and surprised local cable officials, and they say that the public has been very helpful in preparing them for negotiations. United Artists Cable's franchise agreement is due to expire next year. For Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Pat Michelizzi.
In Mamaroneck Village, the Washingtonville Housing Alliance wants to charge ahead with a plan to build 3 new 3-bedroom townhouses on a Madison Street site. The homes would be incorporated into a 4th and be aimed at supplying residences for first-time home buyers. However, the owners of Fava's Market, which has been in the business since the 1920s, wants to have 13 townhouses built in a project and considered on the site. Instead, the people over at the Washingtonville Housing Alliance said they plan to see the Zoning Board of Appeals later this week to discuss the original plan and feel it may be too late to consider the alternate proposal. However, at least they said they were willing to listen to the new proposal. Sven?
The skies above Larchmont and Mamaroneck will become quiet again very soon. New radar equipment is being installed at LaGuardia. Once the equipment is in place, probably as early as April, planes on their approach to LaGuardia should not pass over our area anymore. Roger?
The state legislature is considering a bill that would create a housing authority in the town of Mamaroneck. It's already approved housing authorities for 160 other locations throughout the state. The move would allow bonds to be issued that would finance the construction of about 60 apartments of affordable housing for town civil servants and middle-income residents. The town owns the property, and construction is expected to cost nearly $3 million and could begin this spring, provided the funding is made.
When Larchmont Fire Chief Sweeney asked the village board for the approval of a second fire truck late last year, the board was taken by surprise. Sweeney convinced the board of the necessity of a new truck. A first bidding process didn't result in a price that seemed to be acceptable to the village board. The village hopes to bring the cost of the truck below the $200,000 mark through negotiations and by cutting non-essential features of the new truck. Beautification and Larchmont, the target of a campaign to spruce up the outward appearance of village businesses. Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Joyce Sutherland has details.
Two local merchants recently received Larchmont's Beautification Committee Business Awards. The Larchmont Pharmacy, 19 Chatsworth Avenue, has been in business in Larchmont for 20 years and received recognition for their window displays. The proprietor, Charles Salkin, mentioned that they change their displays every 3 weeks. They are always eye-catching and dressed artistically, as you can see from our video. I must say the entire store is done in unusually good taste, with an uncluttered, attractive appearance. Another business award was presented to Painted and Pine, a shop at 1967A Palmer Avenue, owned by Patricia Goldschmidt, who has been in business in Larchmont for 3 years. This award was given for the general attractiveness of the store and its wares. They specialize in pine furniture and painted furniture, including children's sets. They also do hand-painted designs to order on patrons' furniture. Old tapestry pillows and other unusual items, such as children's china sets, are constantly being acquired and placed on sale. Our congratulations to both winners for adding to Larchmont's distinctive business district.
This coming Friday, there will be a very big event happening in our area that has the men running and the women smiling, and the people of this channel hoping you will take part. For more, here's the studio coordinator for LMC-TV Studio One, Mike Kachi.
LMC-TV will be holding its first annual Sadie Hawkins dance this Friday, March 6th at the American Legion Hall in Flint Park, beginning at 8 p.m. Sadie Hawkins means the girls invite the boys out to dance, and the look is very country, very down home. There's going to be all sorts of activities. There's going to be a kissing booth, a cakewalk, there's going to be a marrying Sam so people can get married, and around the straw-filled stacks you'll be seeing Crazy Henry and Brother Bruce. If it'll get better, they'll be providing live musical entertainment as well as a DJ and just all other sorts of things going on. So remember that Friday, March 6th at the American Legion Hall. Tickets are $5 in advance. Call LMC-TV 381-0131 or 698-6808 or $7 at the door. And we'll see you there.
And that's it for another edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. Remember, you can watch this news program Monday through Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. on the same channel, LMC-TV, Channel 36. Also, Monday through Friday nights at 7 and again at midnight.
And if you want to join in the fun community activity, take a look at how we put the news program together. We're all volunteers, and we get together here on Thursday nights around 7 o'clock to assemble all the bits and pieces that make this news show what it is.
Remember, Thursday night around 7 in the LMC TV studios of Mamaroneck High School. It's just up the stairs across from Walter's Hot Dogs in the Palmer Avenue unit of MHS. Thanks for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Roger Norum.
I'm Sven Oehme. We'll see you again next week on this very Channel 36.
Mamaroneck is losing its school superintendent.
The election day of March 17th nears. We'll have some final sketches.
A big tax dollar question mark looms over the Sarah Newman nursing home.
The blasting along the thruway will be heard again later this month.
And Murray Avenue residents complain about trucks on their street.
Those stories and more on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Roger Norum.
And I'm Sven Oehmer. Our top story tonight.
The shockwaves are still settling in the Rhinebeck School District. The announcement last week that the district superintendent is leaving. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News school reporter Monique Citron has the details and an interview.
Dr. Tassone, we're very saddened to hear you're leaving Rhinebeck, but could you talk about some of the accomplishments and the legacy you'll be leaving?
Yes, it's very difficult for me to leave Rhinebeck because I have found it to be a very caring, concerned community. But Rhinebeck will have a school district with outstanding accomplishments, and I know that the accomplishments and the kinds of things that we've done are going to continue. This includes a pilot excellence and accountability program, which will continue in the years ahead. It includes a number of other kinds of activities, such as our elementary foreign language program, also our extensive elective program in the high school, an adult education program that has reached all members of the school community, a senior citizens gold card program that has really enabled our senior citizens to participate in our schools. So these are some of the things that I know Rhinebeck will continue in the years ahead.
Can you tell me a little about where you're going and what drew you to the situation?
Sure. This is a superintendency out on Long Island. It's a district that is 2.5 times the size of Rhinebeck.
It's Roslyn.
It's Roslyn, Long Island. That's correct. It's a larger school district, and it's a district that will offer me some challenges. In many ways, the kinds of challenges that I experienced when I first came to Rhinebeck 3 years ago.
Oh, I see. Well, we're very happy for you, and we're very sad for us, and we wish you all the luck in the world.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Monique. Sven?
A former Mamaroneck High School assistant principal, Vincent Fernandino, has been named Connecticut State Commissioner of Education. Fernandino, who is a Connecticut native, only spent 1 year from 1981 to 1982 at Mamaroneck High. Roger?
As the villages both prepare for the respective elections, business in the town of Mamaroneck continues as usual. And to get a summary of the key items from last week's board meeting, we spoke with Town Council member Kathleen Tracy O'Flynn. I understand there was a bit of discussion on truck traffic on Murray Avenue at last week's Town Council meeting.
Yes, residents of the Murray Avenue area had expressed to the Traffic Committee over the past several months their concern about heavy traffic, especially truck traffic cutting from Weaver Street, and they seem to find their way to the thruway by way of Murray Avenue. And so the Traffic Committee decided to do a study which included a traffic count, and so that was discussed at last night's meeting. The town board has not yet made a decision as to how to resolve it. Well, we hope to have a hearing, I believe, on April the 1st. There are a number of things that we'll look into. We hope to help relieve the residents of that area of some of the heavy traffic going through that area. One possibility is to limit the hours that truck traffic can go through there, let's say during the evening hours, because we found that a lot of the traffic is through traffic. They're not making local stops, and they're getting truck trailers and a lot of traffic that obviously is not making local deliveries.
Another subject brought up, I understand, was on an ice rink trust fund?
That's right. The Recreation Commission asked if the town board would approve the creation of an ice rink trust fund. They plan on doing a number of fundraisers, and they want to devote the money that they raise to improvements to be made at the ice rink. And
so profits from the ice rink would be put into this trust fund, or what?
well, not profits made at the rink, only specific fundraisers that would be held at the rink.
And a final subject, I understand there is a grant being applied for Premium Point or for some landscaping?
That's right. The town has applied for a grant through the DEC and the Small Business Administration. The maximum we could get would be $5,000. If we got that, that'd be wonderful, and we'd be able to apply that towards the planting of some shrubs, and I think that it will be a real asset to the Premium. It would go in the entrance to the Premium.
For those of you who don't know, the Premium Point Marsh, that's not far from Tony's Nursery off the Post Road.
Right. It's if you take Dillon Road, it's off Dillon Road.
Right. Our thanks to Mamaroneck Town Council member Kathleen Tracy O'Flynn.
2 Mamaroneck Town police officers were promoted during a town board meeting to new ranks. Michael Nordelli, who has been with the department for 22 years, is now a detective sergeant. His colleague William P. Degenhardt, a 16-year Mamaroneck police veteran, was promoted to sergeant. Congratulations to the 2 officers.
Get the earplugs, or keep the ones you already have if you live near the Thruway. Yonkers Contracting says that on or about Monday, the 23rd of this month, they will be blasting away, and not just for one day, possibly on a daily basis for 3 months, weather permitting. This will all be along the southbound side of the New England Thruway, south of Mamaroneck Avenue. Blasting the Thruway a little wider, possibly until sometime in June. Boom.
The Larchmont Fire Department is currently conducting fire drills throughout the village. Due to the use of fire hydrants in those drills, the water may be discolored at times. It's safe to drink, but you should let it flow until it turns clear again. Roger?
It's a first and may become a model for other communities, a hiring hall for Hispanic day laborers. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Joe Chamberlain fills us in.
In order to organize Hispanic day laborers in Mamaroneck, a hiring hall will be set up in the town. The move is twofold in purpose. Firstly, this new development will deal with the pedestrian street traffic at Halstead Avenue near the train station, which at times has been in disarray. And secondly, the hall would end the exploitation of the workers by unscrupulous employers. This process in action has been led by representatives of the Mamaroneck chapter of the Coalition for Economic Justice, Voci Vida, a local Hispanic association, and Miguel Maldonado, a labor organizer. Steve London of the Coalition for Economic Justice is quoted in the Daily Times as saying, "This is a positive solution to what we feel is a difficult problem." And again, I quote, "This benefits everybody."
Thanks, Joe. Water users in our area who receive their water from Westchester Joint Waterworks and whose per capita water use exceeds per capita use in New York City will be hit by a surcharge this summer. The Mamaroneck Town Board approved the extra fee last week. An average homeowner will probably pay no more than $4 for the year. Roger?
Remember Election Day for the Village of Mamaroneck and the Village of Larchmont. It's March 17, St. Patty's Day. To get a complete idea of where the candidates for both villages stand, watch their presentations on this channel, 36, right up until Election Day. You can find out the exact times when they'll be on LMC-TV during the day at 381-0131 to see when the candidate profiles are presented, or during the evening hours, you can call this channel, 698-6808, to find out when they'll be on. And don't forget, LMC-TV will have live election coverage, election night, beginning at 9 p.m., right up until we have determined who has won. So tune in to LMC-TV, Channel 36, Election Night, March 17th. Sven?
In the village of Mamaroneck, running as a GOP candidate for trustee is Ginny Newmeister. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Joe Chamberlain spoke with her.
Ginny, I understand you're running for the GOP village trustee of Mamaroneck.
That's right.
Why are you running?
Well, I've wanted to do this for quite a long time now, and I think I am ready for it now. I've been on the management committee and the budget committee for the village. I've been active all my life in the community, and it's time now to serve my community, give back to it what it's given to me.
I understand you serve on the Orienta Cooperative Board in some manner?
I'm president of the board of directors of Orienta Gardens Owners, Inc., which is the name of the corporation that owns the buildings. And yes, we have, as president of the board, I've been very successful with the other members of the board by improving our property, by keeping our costs down. We have a big budget, and our residents have been well informed. We've been honest and open with them, and we've been very successful. I feel I can bring some of those skills, as well as my life experience, to the Board of the Trustees of the Village of Mamaroneck.
I do understand that you've lived in Mamaroneck all of your life.
Yes, I have.
And I understand that one of the issues you want to address is cleaning up Long Island Sound.
Yes, not all by myself, thank you. But I do. I think the key is to get people to care about what they do with their garbage. And if they care enough, we can start by cleaning up our part of the sound, our part of the community, and that will begin to market Mamaroneck for development, to increase our tax base, to bring more people in, and thereby stabilizing our taxes as well and making Mamaroneck a wonderful, beautiful, viable waterfront community.
Among the other GOP candidates running in the upcoming election, March 17, is incumbent justice for the Village of Mamaroneck, Roger Serlin. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Monique Citron spoke with him.
Judge Serlin, you're running for your 4th term, but there still may be some people who are unfamiliar with you or need a refresher. What are your credentials, and why do you want to run again?
Well, I've enjoyed my 12 years on the bench. My credentials are that I've been a former Assistant District Attorney of Westchester County, been a captain in the United States Army in the Military Affairs Division, been a defense attorney, and many years ago I used to be a police officer. In effect, I have taken care of all the aspects of law enforcement, from a cop to a judge, and I enjoy every moment of it.
Do you have any reason for running again? Is it pure enjoyment? You like dispensing justice in Mamaroneck?
Well, I care very much about Mamaroneck. I'm born and raised here. In fact, my grandfather came here 84 years ago, and my children are 4th generation Mamaroneck. I will share with you that I really do very much care about this community. As a judge, you can make an impact on a community. You can be compassionate, caring, firm, but more importantly, you can actually make a statement as to what is appropriate for the community in which you live, and I'm very proud to do that, and I want to continue doing that.
Some 33 new parking spaces are about, or perhaps better, are finally to be added near the Larchmont train station. The lot in question is owned by the Metropolitan Transportation Authority. The MTA and Larchmont for some time did not agree on the amount and type of insurance coverage the village has to provide for the property. But those details now seem to be finally resolved. The village will pay for the construction of the lot and will split the parking meter revenues with the MTA. Roger?
Not long ago, the Sarah Newman Nursing Home along Palmer Avenue was sold, and the new owners feel they should be entitled to nonprofit tax-exempt status. The people at the state level are not too sure. In any event, we have asked Mamaroneck Village Trustee Kate Weingarten to fill us in on just what the latest status is of the Sarah Newman Nursing Home.
Well, the Sarah Newman Nursing Home was sold to the Jewish Home for the Aged in New York City, which is a tax-exempt entity. And they made application to the village and to the town to assume that tax-exempt status for the home. Now, this is a matter of some concern to the village and to every resident in the village, because the Sarah Newman Nursing Home has been one of the major sources of property tax revenues in the village.
What sort of tax bill did it have?
About $117,000 a year, which is, to the village of Mamaroneck, a very significant amount of money.
So where is that tax bill now?
Well, the village had requested of Albany an opinion as to whether the Sarah Newman Nursing Home, as presently owned, was entitled to be taken off the tax rolls as a tax-exempt entity. And the opinion just came down last week. It's not at all clear from the opinion that they are or are not entitled to be taken off the tax rolls. And the status now is that the village will hold a hearing in which the home and its attorneys are permitted to make their case. And if traditional practice holds,
the village will put Sarah Newman back on the tax rolls, which is good news for the village of Mamaroneck, because taking it off the tax rolls probably would raise everybody's taxes 2%, everything else being equal. It's that big a taxpayer.
Then again, though, the Sarah Newman Nursing Home is likely to fight that in court, no?
Well, the traditional way that these things are dealt with is that after the denial comes through from the municipality, then the nursing home and its attorneys would fight that judgment by the village.
Our thanks to Mamaroneck Village Trustee Kate Weingarten for being with us on Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. Sven?
At midday, a Bronx resident was the victim of a robbery at the Mamaroneck train station. One of the two attackers pulled a silver pistol. The two robbers stole $50. But one of them did not get very far, just a few blocks away from the site of the robbery, and only some minutes later, one of the attackers, a Mamaroneck resident, was arrested by the police. The victim had been able to identify him at the police station after looking through the mugshot files. The Ardsley Police Department arrested Christopher DeFalco at a local parking lot some nights ago after he had allegedly assaulted a woman. They realized that there was a warrant from Mamaroneck town too. Just 2 nights before the incident, DeFalco had entered a Mamaroneck residence, threatened the couple living there, and had taken some items and approximately $500 in cash. As DeFalco was known to his victims, Mamaroneck police were able to issue a warrant which the Ardsley Police Department had received at the right time. Roger.
Actionville is back in the news. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News school reporter Monique Citron fills us in with a couple of guests.
Sign up for Actionville is this Wednesday night at 7:30 at the Hummocks in North LGI. Actionville is an alternative program for 5th and 6th graders. Lila and Allison, why do you like Actionville?
Well, Actionville is really a program where you learn by doing. The director is Don Tedesco, and he's been doing this for 21 years now, and I like it a lot.
You go on field trips too?
Yeah, we go on field trips every week.
What is, Lila, what does learning by doing mean?
Well, for instance, last year, we're both 6th graders, so we also went last year. Last year, when we were learning about China, we didn't sit there and read out of the textbook. We actually went to Chinatown.
And what else do you like about Actionville?
Well, I think it's really great and that kids get a lot more out of it, and it also prepares them very well for 7th and 8th grade.
If you have a child who would like this kind of learning by doing, sign up this Wednesday night at the Hummocks.
Thanks, Monique. Sven?
Behind Mamaroneck Avenue School, there is Derman Avenue, a weed-covered 25-foot-long cul-de-sac, which the school district wants to buy from the village of Mamaroneck. The school would like to turn it into a drop-off zone for parents. The village does not want to spend any money on the project. The situation may be different if the school district should decide to pick up the cost of developing the road, about $30,000. But there is still another concern. Some of the neighbors may not like the idea of turning Derman Avenue into a drop-off zone. The entry fees for the 5-mile run enlargement increased this year. Early registration is going up from $5 to $10. Other fees are also up, but at a lesser rate. Also going up are the rates for day camp. For half-day campers, the increase will be up by $15. The full day will be up by $10. Roger?
And that's it for another edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Remember, this program can be seen any weekday night at 7 and midnight, and also in the mornings, Monday through Saturday at 10 a.m.
Also, if you want to see how we produce this program, stop by on a Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios in the Palmer Avenue unit of Mamaroneck High School. We start doing things here around 7 o'clock, and we'd love to see you.
The studios are located just up the stairs from Walter's Hot Dogs.
Thanks for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Roger Norum.
And I'm Sven Ume. We'll see you again on this channel 36.
When you get down to the village elections, the rhetoric can get pretty heated. We'll have the last word.
The state plans education cutbacks and local taxes could go up more than 7%.
A support program opens for the white-collar unemployed in our community.
Should truck traffic be banned on Murray Avenue?
And it's going to cost more to get married in the town of Mamaroneck. For better or worse, we'll have all the details. Hello and welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Roger Norum.
And I'm Bill Littauer. Our top story, the new mayor and trustees of the village of Larchmont will be sworn in April 6th. But it became a somewhat heated campaign to reach that Tuesday election. The Republicans may be in the minority on the village board, but they achieved parity in the fundraising department. Financial disclosure forms filed a week and a half before the election showed both parties with less than $4,000 to spend, $3,500 for the GOP and $3,900 for the Democrats. In an LMC-TV pre-election debate, the two sides clashed over the question of whether to use the village's $1 million surplus to hold down tax increases. The Republicans said that if non-salary expenses were held to this year's level, they would only need $200,000 from the surplus to prevent a tax increase in the next fiscal year. The Democrats adamantly oppose spending the surplus. They say it maintains the village's financial security. The final days of the campaign also saw some pre-election mischief. Judy O'Gorman sent a letter to the editor of the Gannett papers endorsing Republican mayoral candidate Tom Constable. Of course, Judy O'Gorman ran for a trustee seat as a Democrat. But there is another Judy O'Gorman in Larchmont, and she was the letter writer. Democratic mayoral candidate Cheryl Louie accused the Republicans of trying to sow discord and confusion. Republican mayoral candidate Constable denied any part in the maneuver, but he admitted he did see a draft of the letter before it was sent. Roger?
If you missed the last Mamaroneck Village Board meeting, the one before the election, you missed some fireworks reminiscent of the days of the firehouse floor debate or the Harbor Island lights controversy. This time the issue was the appointment of Mary Landrigan to complete the final year of an unexpired term on the Coastal Zone Management Commission. Landrigan's appointment is not sitting well, as you will see, with Republican village trustee Walter Rogers, who goes on the offensive against the two Democrat trustees in what he calls a lame duck appointment. Here's a sampling.
So on principle.
What I want to know is what's so critical about this appointment.
Actually, it's an important.
1 week before the election, I want to know why.
The day before the election.
It doesn't matter.
CCM is an important commission, and we have looked for qualified people. We have had time. It was on. We could have done it 2 weeks ago. We put it off because Paul wasn't there. That was fine. We're going to take heat because you're going to do this kind of nonsense on the cable TV. Fine. This person is qualified.
This is no kind of
there
nonsense.
There is an opening,
and I have a right.
We are going. That's
I have a right to express my views.
And you stated it.
And you're trying to stop it.
No, you stated it.
I'm not finished yet.
But
I still have more.
No.
Don't you?
Let's have the vote.
Do you want to cut me off on debate? Certainly not. No way can you cut me off on debate. Why don't this board at least have the courtesy? In 1 week, you will have newly elected candidates.
Right.
This board will change dramatically, no matter who's elected.
I think that's
Why not allow them to share in the process of selecting the member of this commission?
Because we've seen the type of people that you have appointed.
That is political. That is political. Okay? And
That's an interesting prediction,
let me tell you.
Glean from that.
And number three,
one at a time, look.
And number three, I must question the motive behind this 11th hour appointment with only 1 week to go before election and lame duck trustees with 1 more week to go making this appointment this evening and not allowing the newly elected trustees to make this appointment.
I don't consider myself a lame
So
duck.
now,
I've held office for 10 years, Walter, and I participated actively at all points, and I will continue to do so until I have my last meeting.
Because of the Democrats' majority on the village board, the appointment passed 3-2. Bill?
It's the first white-collar recession since the 1930s. Almost everyone knows somebody who has been downsized, restructured, or reorganized out of their job. But there will be support available in our area. It's called Community Support for Employment Transition, or COMSET. COMSET founder Ed Colston and the Reverend Dick Martin of the Larchmont Avenue Church talked with LMC Community News reporter Julie DiRamondo about the project.
Reverend Martin, we've been in a recession for a while now, and when people think of recessions, they think of blue-collar workers. But now a lot of white-collar workers are affected, and I understand that you're starting a new organization to help them. Can you tell us about it?
Thanks, Julie. Yes, this organization is called COMSET, which stands for Community Support for Employment Transition. And we're starting it with the hope that not only will it attract a number of people who are unemployed or anticipating unemployment, so as to find a kind of setting and group of people that can be helpful and supportive of each other, but also we're looking for people in the community who have resources to make available to people who are unemployed. And so that's what we hope this organization is going to be. And I might just mention that the opening meeting for people who are unemployed and who'd like to be a part of this self-help group is Monday, March 23rd at 7:30, Larchmont Avenue Church.
Great. And Ed, where do the people come from, your resources?
This community has a tremendous untapped resource, I feel, in the area of executive search, human research people, outplacement psychologists, counselors, lawyers, financial planners, all of whom I think have a tremendous asset to offer these people who are really going through a lot of human toil and pain.
How would they get in touch with you if they were interested in becoming a resource person?
They can show up on Monday night on March 23rd at the Larchmont Avenue Church, and we'll talk to them, and the program hopefully will evolve from the response we receive from both the people who are willing to help and the people who are looking for help.
Mamaroneck town officials say they will consider a ban on truck traffic over Murray Avenue from 9 p.m. at night to 9 in the morning. Supervisor Caroline Silverstone says that would cover the time when children are heading to school in the morning. Some area residents complain that trucks are a danger to pedestrians, other motorists, and school children. But a private traffic consultant did not find an excessive amount of truck traffic on Murray Avenue, and he warned that forcing trucks off Murray Avenue might only push the traffic onto another neighborhood, and that Weaver Street, which has been proposed as the alternate route, also has 2 schools on it. The town board will take up the issue April 22nd.
The proposed school budget for the next fiscal year calls for a stiff tax hike. But even so, some programs may have to be cut. LMC Community News reporter Monique Citron has that report.
The budget vote and school board election is not until May 20th. But the time to attend a study session regarding budget decisions is now, this week, Tuesday evening at Central School, and next Tuesday evening as well. Of major concern are some proposed program cuts due to lack of funding. One such cut would be the widely regarded Understanding Handicap program for Mamaroneck 4th graders. The program, previously budgeted at around $29,000, received no funding in the 1992-1993 budget. Last year it was saved in part by a $10,000 grant from the R.D. Boulevard Corporation. Superintendent Norman Kolb suggests the district look at alternate forms of funding to retain some programs. The $50 million plus budget relies on a 7.3% increase in school taxes. EPIC, which is Effective Parenting Information for Children, is looking for facilitators for the next fall semester. It's a wonderful program that lets parents share in small groups and learn about their kids. I know, I took it. If you can commit to the 8-week session and take a 2-day study period to learn all about EPIC and raising kids, call Derek Gordon at the Westchester office at 941-1302.
The Mamaroneck Town Board has officially asked the state legislature to create a town housing authority that would enable the town to issue bonds to cover the renovation cost of the Larchmont Motel site. The project is budgeted at $3.65 million. The project would create about 60 units of so-called affordable housing, including 10 units for low-income families and senior citizens. Bill?
There's a public hearing set this week for an area housing plan. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Chris Williams has more on that.
2 more weeks. That's how long it's going to take for the Washingtonville Housing Alliance to learn the fate of its latest proposal. That proposal involved 4 townhouses for affordable housing at 129 Madison Street. Proposed parking for the plan is cause for the delay. Residents of Washington Street were concerned that, under the current plan, parking for the townhouses would face their backyards. The Housing Alliance is required to submit an alternative parking plan before a special meeting of the Mamaroneck Zoning Board on March 18th.
We get an update now on our rising water charges in an interview Sven Ome conducted with John Hawk of the Westchester Joint Waterworks.
Once again in our studio, John Hawk, manager of the Westchester Joint Waterworks. John, last week we mentioned a surcharge that some customers in Mamaroneck might face. What can you tell us about that?
Yes, the surcharge is something that we plan to apply to the water bills in the summer months during the peak demand periods. And it has become necessary to do so because New York City, our supplier, penalizes the waterworks when we use water in excess of the per capita limit that's applied in New York City. And in order to recover the expenses incurred in 1991, we will apply a surcharge in 1992, but only to those customers that use water in excess of the per capita allowance.
And that is in the town of Mamaroneck?
Well, we're proposing it for all of our municipalities, which includes the town of Mamaroneck and the village of Mamaroneck, as well as the other communities we serve.
What's the overall situation, the overall water supply situation?
Well, until about 2 days ago, it was not too encouraging. But the day before yesterday, we had a very heavy rainfall up in the watersheds, which hasn't happened in the prior rainstorms, which were mainly along the coast. But the city system got over 1 inch the other day, and the reservoir levels on average are now up to 60.4% and climbing. And the term that the city uses is harvest, and they won't know what the harvest is until all the runoff is in from that rainstorm.
I see. Was there a lot of snow up there in the Catskills?
No, that's one of the negatives this year is there was very little snow cover. But the city advises us that if they get, on average, 1 inch of rainfall per week between now and June 1st, they'll be in good shape. So a lot depends on the weather in the next 2 months.
Yeah. Spring is coming, and spring is usually a time for flushing of the mains. Is there any schedule you could tell us about?
Yes, we plan to start our flushing program on a week from Monday, on the 23rd of March. And that program usually takes about 30 working days to complete. So we should be in the village of Mamaroneck the second week of April, and the town of Mamaroneck the 4th week of April.
It's going to cost more to get married, drive a cab, or pedal on the streets of Mamaroneck town. The town board has voted to increase some 41 license fees as a way to raise revenue. Here are some examples of the new fees. Marriage licenses, $11.75, up 50 cents. Dog license, $5, up from $2.50. A temporary certificate of occupancy doubles to $200. A blasting permit goes to $250 from $100. Street restoration deposits from $1,000 to $1,200. A hack permit, $25, up from $15. And a vehicle peddling license doubles to $100. Roger?
And it's just a little more than a month away, but start thinking about it anyway. Beautification Day. It's been set for April 25th. Neighborhood associations, scout troops, churches, synagogues, athletic teams, just about everyone is being asked to pitch in. Even if you're not a member of an organized group, remember to tidy up the area in front of your home or apartment. The date, April 25th for spring cleanup. Bill?
The threat of rabies is drawing much closer to us. A rabid skunk was found near County Center Road in Greenburgh last month. LMC-TV reporter Joe Chamberlin has a report now on what you can and should be doing about it.
Rabies has been discovered in southern Westchester County, but there is no need to panic. The best reaction to this current rabies alert is to immunize all pets. Your local veterinarian may offer discount vaccinations, thus it behooves pet owners to check with them on this. Further rabies protection tips are as follows. Stay away from dead animals and don't approach sick animals, even babies. Do not feed or approach any unknown animal. Do not leave pets unattended outdoors for a long period of time. Avoid attracting wildlife into residential yards by removing pets' food when they're finished eating. Secure trash to prevent animals from lurking around the house. And finally, if you are bitten by a strange animal, or one that is not immunized, or if your pet fights with another animal, immediately report the incident to the Westchester County Health Department 24 hours a day at 285-5100. If your pet is bitten by any animal, wear heavy gloves when treating it or taking it to a veterinarian.
A new Commodore for the Mamaroneck Yacht Club. Jerry Winston is her name, and she's been active in boating for nearly 30 years. Her husband, Barry, was Commodore of the Mamaroneck Yacht Club in 1988 and 89. And that's it for another edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
In case you missed any part of this program, you have a chance to catch it on a repeat. In the mornings at 10 a.m. Monday through Saturday, and at night, Monday through Friday at 7 o'clock, and again at midnight.
There's a new program every Monday, so next week you'll see a complete recap of the election results with the winners and losers from both Larchmont and Mamaroneck.
If you're looking for a fun activity, check us out. We're all volunteers, and we get together to produce the program on Thursday nights around 7. Stop by and say hello.
We do this program in the LMC-TV studios in the Palmer Avenue side of Mamaroneck High School, just up the stairs from Walter's Hot Dogs. Thanks for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Roger Norum.
And I'm Bill Littauer. We'll see you again next week at the same time.
And it'll be here on Channel 36. And a reminder that the next minute you'll be seeing some of the highlights of the Sadie Hawkins Day fundraiser held a couple weeks back in Flint Park at the American Legion Hall by the people here at LMC-TV.
Good job!